morning from the News and Current Affairs Department at the Blaze Communications Network Incorporated. Welcome to News Point. 45 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our own world. On today, Wednesday, August 5, 2026. My name is Oliver McIntosh presenting. In the headlines, National Youth Congress of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction issues a 24-hour ultimatum to Nima County Senator Samuel Koka to return what the group describes as the heart of the party. President of the Presidency of Liberia, Julius Kanumba, clarifies that the union's decision to engage lawyers following allegations against journalists do not automatically mean the media body is heading to court. Head of the West Africa Examinations Council Liberian office De Boto dismissed a report circulating on social media claiming that the 2026 West African Senior School Certificate Examination results have been released. And away from home, Cameroon's President Paul Biya reshuffles the country's military leadership amidst growing concern over his prolonged absence from public view. This is the news bulletin post or package on today's presentation of the program. My friend Stephen Talu and the news bulletin. Stephen, good morning.
Good morning, Oliver. The National Youth Congress of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction has issued a 24-hour ultimatum to Nima County Senator Samuel Koga to return what the group describes as the heart of the party. MDR Youth Congress Chairman Caesar Pili said that the item was presented to Senator Koga for a specific purpose, which was to help unite members of the party, bring partisans together, and strengthen the MDR's political direction. Pili accused Senator Koga of using the party symbol to advance personal political ambitions rather than the objective of which it was given. He expressed his disappointment over the senator's recent comments about supporting any presidential candidate he believes will serve Liberia's interests. The MDR Youth leader warned that if Senator Koga fails to return the party item in 24 hours, the group will take what he described as a radical posture to reclaim aid. PD also challenged Senator Koga to publicly return to the symbol, insisting that the Youth Congress remains committed to protecting the values and objectives of the MDR. The president of the Press Union of Liberia, Julius Kanumba, says the union's decision to engage lawyers following allegations against journalists do not automatically mean the media body is heading to court. Speaking Tuesday in an interview on our sister program Roundtable, Kanumba explained that consulting the legal experts aimed at seeking guidance on the appropriate steps and possible approaches in addressing the matter. He said the move is part of efforts to understand the legal framework and determine the best way forward, especially amid calls for dialogue over allegations linking some media institutions to the ongoing trafficking investigation. The PUA president noted that while the media remains committed to holding authorities accountable, journalists must also consider the importance of ensuring the public continues to receive information during the fight against illegal drugs. Kanumba added that the union remains open to all possible remedies, including dialogue, to ensure credible evidence is presented regarding the allegation. He warned that without supporting evidence, some members of the press union may view the claims against the media as unsubstantiated. The head of the Liberia office of the West African Council, Del Boto, has dismissed reports circulating on social media claiming that the 2026 West African Senior School Certificate Examination Results have been released. Glue, that's Butu described the report as false and misleading, warning that such information could undermine public confidence in the examination process. Speaking Tuesday at the Charles Agbayan Press Hall in Monrovia, the Wire Liberia boss urged students, parents, and the public to rely only on official communications from WIAC and disregard unverified information shared online. He assured the public that WIAC remains on the schedule to release the 2026 WAC results before August 14, 2026, noting that the Council is working to ensure the results are accurately processed before publication. Meanwhile, Boto acknowledged that WAEC encountered several challenges during the administration of the examinations, but maintained that those difficulties did not affect the credibility and integrity of the process. He said WAEC continues to collaborate with government institutions, security agencies, school administrators, and examination supervisors to ensure the smooth conduct of national examination. The University of Liberia has begun discussions with Germany-based LD DIDAT education group to modernize laboratory facilities across the institution's science, engineering, agriculture, fisheries, and health-related programs. Speaking in an interview on Monday, the university president, Dr. Larry Mampea, said the engagement is part of the university's broader institutional transformation agenda to strengthen the science education, research, innovation, and workforce development. Dr. Mapea said the initiative seeks to provide students and faculty with modern laboratory facilities that will support quality teaching, practical research, and innovation capable of contributing to Liberia's national development. She emphasized that improving laboratory infrastructure remains a key priority in preparing graduates with the practical skills needed to compete in today's workforce. Meanwhile, Vladimir Shalakov, international project representative of LD DIDA Education Group, highlighted the company's experience in designing, equipping, and supporting educational laboratories in more than 170 countries. They stressed the importance of hands-on learning, digital technologies, artificial intelligence, and modern laboratory systems in preparing students for the rapidly changing global workforce. Nema County Senator Samuel Koga says he is prepared to support any presidential candidate, including a member of the opposition, if he believes the person will serve the interest of Liberia and the people of Nema. Speaking during a recent radio interview, Senator Koka said his political decisions are not influenced by public criticism or concerns about whether some people trust his choices. He emphasized that his loyalty remains with the people of Nema County, adding that any major political decision he makes will be based on consultation of his constituents. The senator explained that if any opposition party approaches him to support its presidential candidate as a possible vice running mate, he will first return to Nema County to seek the views of the people before making any commitment. Koga said the opinions of the citizens who re-elected him will continue to guide his political actions. He further argued that the election of president must bring meaningful development to Nema County, stressing that political leadership should focus on improving the lives of citizens rather than party loyalty. Liberian activist Martin Collins says his advocacy efforts have contributed to a significant increase in the salaries of teachers at Hewu Mission Institute in Mosurado County. According to Collins, his intervention followed complaints from several teachers who raised concerns about low wages and alleged unfair treatment at the institution. Speaking in an exclusive interview with Prime FM on Tuesday, Collins said he received complaints and internal documents from teachers in January 2026 detailing their salary challenges. He said from January to May 2026, he dedicated his time and resources and advocacy efforts toward demanding improved welfare for the teachers. Colley claimed that teachers who were previously receiving salaries as low as 14,000 are now expected to receive between 36 and 75,000 Liberian dollars, with some earning even higher amount following the institution's decision to review their compensation. Meanwhile, some teachers at the EU Mission Institute who have benefited from the salary adjustment have expressed appreciation to Colley for advocating on their behalf. The teachers also commended the institution's management for responding to their concerns and taking steps to improve their welfare. Several citizens across Liberia have expressed the mixed reactions following the announcement by former President George Weah that he will contest the 2029 presidential and general elections. The announcement was made by Weah, the political leader of the Coalition for Democratic Change, during the CDC convention held in the United States. The decision comes after his earlier indication that he will step away from active politics following the 2023 elections. Speaking to journalists in Monrovia, some citizens welcomed the return of the former president, arguing that some policies and programs introduced during the CDC administration have allegedly been abandoned by the current government. Other citizens, however, say if we are intends to make a successful return to the presidency, the Coalition for Democratic Change must reorganize and develop strategic plans to build a stronger political movement ahead of 2029. Meanwhile, some citizens disagreed with calls for Weah's return, describing his comeback as unnecessary due to widely positive developments under the Boubacar Koné administration. The cited improvements in electricity supply, access to water, rural connectivity, and an increase in civil servants' salaries as key achievements of the current government. The government of Liberia has cautioned the public and media institutions against spreading what it describes as reckless allegations on social media linking the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and members of the diplomatic community to the country's ongoing drug trafficking investigation. Speaking Tuesday during the Ministry of Information regular press briefing in Monrovia, Information Minister Jerelima Pierce said the diplomatic punches are protected on the 1961 Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations and cannot legally be opened or searched. He urged journalists and members of the public to verify information before publishing or sharing it, warning that unfounded allegations against foreign governments and diplomatic missions could damage Liberia's international reputation and diplomatic relations. PR also revealed that security agency recently attempted to intercept a suspicious vessel after receiving intelligence about its activities, but the vessel reportedly moved into deeper waters before it could be apprehended. And away from Liberia, Cameroon's President Paul Biya has reshuffled the country's military leadership amid growing concerns over his prolonged absence from public view. The 93-year-old president, who has not been seen publicly for nearly 2 months, appointed new officials to key military positions and promoted 5 colonels to the rank of brigadier general. Among those promoted is Raymond Jean-Charles Beko Abando, who was immediately reappointed as commander of the elite presidential guard, the unit responsible for protecting President Biya. He has held the position since 2013. The military changes that come as public attention continues to focus on Biya's health and extended stay abroad, with analysts noting that similar shuffles have occurred during periods of political pressure or uncertainty. Blaze News.
Indeed, many thanks to Stephen Taludert for the news bulletin. Is a regular featured on News Point. 45 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our world. Stories to further on today's presentation of the program National Youth Congress of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction Issues. A 24-hour ultimatum to Nima County Senator Samuel Koka to return what the group describes as the heart of the party. President of the Press Union of Liberia, Julius Kanuba, clarifies that the union's decision to engage lawyers following allegations against journalists do not automatically mean the media body is heading to court. Head of the West African Examinations Council Liberian office, Deboto, dismisses reports circulating on social media claiming that the 2026 West African Senior School Certificate Examination results have been released. And in foreign news, Cameroon's President Paul Biya reshuffles the country's military leadership and growing leadership amidst growing concern over his prolonged absence from public view. Still ahead, the voices of our newsmakers post or package on today's presentation of the program. We take on our first development. The National Youth Congress of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction has issued a 24-hour ultimatum to Nima County Senator Samuel Koka to return what the group describes as the heart of the party. MDR Youth Congress Chairman Cesar Pili said the action was presented to Senator Koka for a specific purpose, which was to help unite members of the party, bring partisans together, and strengthen the MDR's political direction. Pele accused Senator Kokard of using the party symbol to advance personal political ambition rather than the objective for which it was given.
Honor my words as national youth leader, we gave Kokard 24 hours to return a statement. He has to return the heart. We gave him 24 hours to return our heart. Let me be on record. Let me be emphatically clear. He has 24 hours.
What will you do?
Unconditionally return over the heart. Failure on the part to turn over the heart in 24 hours. We will examine many things and many things to ensure that the heart is taken back. Any means you think the heart must be taken away from Senator Koga must be taken. Why? We challenge him. It's an open challenge. The National Youth Congress placed Koga on an open challenge. A challenge to appear in any public gathering as of today with that heart. We will unconditionally take it from him by force. There are reasons for which we're going to do that. And we know we're going to that. Not fair on nobody. There was an objective for which the heart was given. There was an objective for which the heart was given. The objective for which the heart was presented to Senator Samuel Koga was to unite, was to bring on board, sit on the table and unite MDR, bring up partisans from all across, like brought our hand behind the table to redefine our struggle, to redefine our ability to see how well we can rally around and support this government in ensuring that Liberia is transformed under this regime. On the contrary, Koga is rather using our heart that was given to him to fight for a political ambition, to fight for a political point. We're not just disappointed, but overly disappointed. And we're going to take a very radical posture against it. Hold on my word. He has 24 hours to return the heart. If the heart is not returning 24 hours, for every force, there's an opposite reaction force will respond to him. And we're going to get it by enemies. It's an open challenge to the senator. We challenge the senator to appear in that with that heart in any political gallery. We'll take it from him by force. Any gallery you enter in with that, we'll take it from him. That's our personal property.
That's the voice of NDR Youth Congress Chairman Cesar Pili there speaking. The president of the Press Union of Liberia, Julius Kanuba, says the union's decision to engage lawyers following allegations against journalists do not automatically mean the body is heading to court. Speaking Tuesday in an interview on our sister program, The Roundtable, Kanuba explained that consulting legal experts is aimed at seeking guidance on the appropriate steps and possible approaches in addressing the matter. He said the move is part of efforts to understand the legal framework and determine the best way forward, especially amidst calls for dialogue over allegations linking some media institutions to the ongoing drug trafficking investigation.
There are different forms of blackout. Sometimes you come in black, for example, you come in black. just publish black. Nobody will have access to news on that particular day. For instance, a Blaze FM is to get news at 6 o'clock or 7. The journalists say, no, we cannot give news because we are on a protest. So the public now put pressure on the RG or on the government to take certain actions in keeping with the demands of the media. But you don't want to use such a scenario because we are in a critical fight. I mean, the fight against the cartel, so to speak. If you are in such a fight, you don't want to deny the public access. Secondly, you don't also want to sit and allow the government to be operating without accountability, the security people. You also don't want the cartel to win because the more you expose information about the cartel perhaps is being dismantled. So the issue of blackouts, withdrawing reporters, reporters, we put all of those stuff. I mean, the membership said go and further engage your lawyer. What that means, I know people have been writing because sometimes when you use legal or lawyers say, oh, you're going to court now. It is not necessarily the case. To consult the lawyers means you engage the lawyers certain parameters of understanding as to how to engage, right? Because I mean, there have been many calls for dialogue. For instance, we are open to all remedies in order to have the pieces of evidence adduced so that we can be able to prosecute. If not, then some members of the union say, well, we consider the statement as a loose talk.
That's the president of the Presidency of Liberia, Julius Kanaba, there saying the union's decision to engage lawyers following allegation against journalists do not automatically mean the media body is heading to court. The head of the Liberian office of the West Africa Examination Council, Deboto, has dismissed reports circulating on social media claiming that the 2026 West African Senior School Certificate Examination results have been released. Boto described the reports as false and misleading, warning that such information could undermine public confidence in the examination process. Speaking Tuesday at the Charles Benyon Press Hall in Monrovia, the WISE boss urged students, parents, and the public to rely on official communication from WIAC and disregard unverified information shared online.
Just this morning, we saw a release. I guess that release is for one of you because that may be a media institution in Liberia that we at WIAC are not aware of. In fact, the number of candidates that we don't even have taking the exam, it is indicated in our release that you have close to 620,000 plus students results being withheld and so forth. For the opportunity given us so that we can come and discuss some of these misinformation. I have come to give all the public this assurance that we are committed to having our results released on or before the 14th of August. I'm certain that before the 14th of August, the results will be released. And I will plead with the minister to give us the opportunity to use this platform to release the results to the nation. But prior to the release of the results, there are authorities that have to have access to that result. And I can show you that hopefully by early next week, those authorities will have access to the result. And once MOE and us agree on when we should release it, it is possible that we'll release it on or before the 14th. Other than that, we'll release the results on the 14th. As I speak to you, we have completed maybe about 90% of the post-processing processes. So that's why I'm confident on or before the 14th of August, the results will be released. The papers have been marked. Again, I want to appreciate the authorities at MOE for adhering to us of the TTRs, KRTTR and CRTTR, where we were. We could not even spend the holiday with our families because, like in my case, I was invisible. And I want to appreciate the teachers, the educators who participated in the exercise and ensured that they were working the process on.
Meanwhile, Boto acknowledged that WIAC encountered several challenges during the administration of the examination, but maintained that those challenges did not affect the credibility and integrity of the process. He said WIAC continues to collaborate with government institutions, security agencies, school administrators, and examination supervisors to ensure the smooth conduct of national exams.
You know, when you introduce anything new for the very first time in Liberia, there can be some challenges. So there were some challenges with the use of this digital platform to take the attendance of the candidates. Some school authorities already told us that they were not prepared to use them. So for that reason, we were not able to capture the attendance of all the candidates 100%. You know, whenever there are innovations, people always love to sit on the fence or they say will not work. You know, but I'm happy that about 90% of the examination workers were able to utilize this platform. This platform was also meant for us to be able to capture in real time those who were participating in the exam and make us to pay them within the shortest possible time. However, because of the non-use or non-utilization of this platform by some of the exam workers, who could not fully capture all of the examination workers in this period. As a result, we had some challenges in paying all of the exam workers as we had earlier planned. Another challenge we had was the use of what is now being called in Liberia as dark rooms at some exam centers. Our school authorities have a specific room where they will place teachers, and by the time the examination questions get at those centers, we either snap the questions or small code the question booklet in those places, and it will be answered and sent back to the children. That was a huge challenge in the control of the exam. But the greatest, there were two challenges. One, the non-supply of the mathematical set on time, and two, the use of the social media to disseminate misleading information. And let me just quickly talk about the mathematical set. Some of you are aware at the time you were in school, you brought your own mathematical set. I guess everyone of us in this room, at the time we were doing our exam, why did not supply us with mathematical set? But since 2019, we've been supplying the students who have become the two exam with mathematical set. But this year we found it extremely difficult to have the mathematical set in country in time to have them distributed to the students. So we asked the students to come with their own ordinary scientific calculator, and we also relaxed the rule that during the exam you can allow people to share the calculator just in case others did not bring the mathematical set with them.
That's the head of the Liberian office of the West Africa Examination Council, Deboto, they're dismissing reports circulating on social media claiming that the 2026 West African Examination results have been released. The University of Liberia has begun discussions with Germany-based LD Data Education Group to modernize laboratory facilities across the institution's science, engineering, agriculture, fisheries, and health-related programs. Speaking at an interview on Monday, the university president, Dr. Lily Mapayan, said the engagement is part of the university's broader institutional transformation agenda to strengthen science education, research, innovation, and workforce development. Dr. Mapayan said the initiative seeks to provide students and faculty with modern laboratory facilities that will support quality teaching, practical research, and innovation capable of contributing to Liberia's national development.
100-plus-year-old company that makes top-tier scientific and laboratory equipment. And in 2022, they came to the University of Liberia to do a site visit to see whether they could help us improve our lab. And they presented a possible framework for doing that, but for whatever reason, it didn't quite get implemented. So when I learned that, I said, well, why not have them back again? Let's just see what they have to say. Let's have them take a look at our labs and give some thought to how things have changed from 2022 to now, because we know science is always advancing. It doesn't sit still. Equipment doesn't change. I mean, just think about it. You know, in 2022, we weren't even talking about AI. Now you can't do anything without AI. You know, their company adapts. So Dr. Michael Flowers, who I had met when he first came as the executive director of the Unipod, who also has a long history with the University of Liberia on a variety of levels, he was in Germany and he reconnected us with FUA, and he said, let me go talk to them and see, you know, how things are going, whether they'd be open to coming back. And they said they were. I was like, meeting. We invited all of the deans of the science, engineering, agriculture, as well as the chairpersons and some of the people from other lab areas, such as Unipod, that have, you know, lab-like things, as well as one of the associate deans. And we had a very important conversation. Mr. Shellicott was able to make a presentation about his company, what they do, how they could help UL, and then all of the science chairs and deans teams were able to talk about their department, their academic goals, what they needed. And then for the rest of the week, Mr. Shelikov and Mr. Flowers are going to be doing site visits where they actually look at the labs, talk to the people, view the curriculum. I don't want to take all his thunder because I'm sure he has a lot to say. But the idea is lab development has always been a strategic priority for me. It was a strategic priority before I even came.
Meanwhile, Vladimir Shaluku, international project representative of LD Data Education Group, highlighted the company's experience in designing, equipping, and supporting educational laboratories in more than 170 countries. He stressed the importance of hands-on learning, digital technologies, artificial intelligence, and modern laboratory systems in preparing students for the rapidly changing global workforce.
Our company was established 112 years ago, 1913, in the middle of Germany, in the city called Göttingen, which is a not so popular name when you talk about the Germany, but if you are a scientist or you are working with the physics, you definitely know the city, because a 46 Nobel Prize winner was working, living or died in our city. And in fact, it is a small city compared to Max Planck, the one who was the father of nuclear physics. Max Born, it's not so famous name, but also the Nobel Prize winner, and the one who fly out from the Germany when the Nazis come in the power. But after the war was ended, he back to Germany and signed the documents about not relating to nuclear weapons inside the Germany. And there was the guys who was one of them. So even if we deliver equipment, it's still not working. And it's also happens. So our goal is not only to develop what we can do, but also to be improved, that when we deliver the equipment which said by the deans, then in the end of the day it will work, and it will make a good job for the students and for the teachers. So we have a schedule that we make a review of all departments which you have here, and we'll see what kind of programs you have and what kind of needs you need to be installed. Then on Friday we'll have a meeting and discuss again if I got the information right or not. And then we'll take a plan how we can modernize everyone's needs. And then we will see what we can do. And of course there is a question about the quality of the teachers, because when they don't use the equipment at their own, so they also need to be trained. And this is also the question where we will done it, either in Germany or here locally. But anyway, there is a lot of job to do. That I know when we succeed in this one, in the end of the day we'll see the happy faces of all of us, teachers, students, and the nations. And I know that the work which we start now will affect in the next generation, and all of them will be thankful for us that sometimes with help of.
That's the voice of the international project representative of the LD Data Education Group, Flamdi Shakuru. They're speaking earlier on. Listen to the president of the University of Liberia when she disclosed that the engagement is part of the university's broader institutional transformation agenda to strengthen science, education, research, innovation, and workforce development. At this time, Stephen Talu, this time around, he comes in with the passion of live sports.
Peaceville Football Club has made a strong start to its preseason preparations after defeating Orange Cup champions Blackburn Warriors 5-3 in a friendly at the SKD practice pitch. The City Boys deliver an impressive attacking performance with the new signing Emmanuel Bonipele leading the way by scoring twice. In Encanto, Nelson Suarez, Prince Catel, and Moses Beza also found the back of the net as Princeville FC secured 5 scoring victory. The result provides an early boost for the club as players continue preparations ahead of the new season. The technical team is expected to be encouraged by teams' attacking display as the players continue to build match fitness and improve coordination on the field. The Liberia Basketball Association finals continue this Wednesday at the Samuel Kedo Gymnasium as the defending champions of PRC always battle to level the best of a 5 championship series against the Ramos NPA anchored Spartans. The Oilers enter game 2 looking to recover from their opening defeat after losing 46-37 to Patons in the first match of the finals. Despite their status as reigning champions, LPRC Oilers struggled to find their strength offensively in game 1 and will be hoping for a stronger performance to keep their title defense alive. Meanwhile, NPA Patons will approach the game with confidence following their impressive opening victory and will aim to take a commanding 2-0 lead in the series. A win for Patons will put them just one victory away from capturing the league championship. And lastly, from the sports desk, Destiny Kickball Club and the new champions of the 2025-26 Liberia Kickball Federation Bushwa Island Subcommittee League after commanding 7-0 victory over Diska Kickball Club in the grand final. Playing before a packed crowd at the Bourgeois Island Sports Ground, Destiny dominated from the opening inning with an impressive display in both offense and defense, leaving their opponent without a response. The emphatic win caps an outstanding campaign for Destiny, securing the Bourgeois Island League title and confirming their status as the season's deserved champions. And that's the sports.
Thanks to Stephen Taludet for the Passion of Life Post. It's a regular featured on News Point. To more development, the government of Liberia has cautioned the public and media institutions against spreading what it describes as reckless allegations on social media linking the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and members of the diplomatic community to countries' ongoing drugs trafficking investigation. Speaking Tuesday during the Ministry of Information regular press briefing in Monrovia, Information Minister Jeremy Pia said the diplomatic punches are protected under the 1961 Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations and cannot legally be opened or researched. Pia stressed that while the government remains committed to fighting drugs trafficking, it will also continue to respect international diplomatic protocols.
So the government's attention has been drawn that there are allegations from the media network linking the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the ministry at large, as well as the diplomatic community, which is very troubling, who are stationed in Liberia to drug trafficking. Imagine the things we do to ourselves. Nobody can wake up in the morning and just call people names. Wakadima is this, Jeremiah is this, President is this. He is listening. They say nothing. They got 2+ bulldogs sitting there just watching, waiting for somebody to say something about the very media. Then they come, issue ultimatum, etc., etc. If you have media network in your country, they're accusing not just your Minister of Foreign Affairs or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but the diplomatic community. That includes great nations, America, Great Britain. Think about it, China. They're all part of the diplomatic community. Sit on one network and accuse them of being involved in drug trafficking. So for the education of the public, if what they were referring to is a question of diplomatic poaches, they contain letters from embassies, diplomatic missions, and international organizations. Diplomatic shipments also include personal effects of diplomats assigned to Liberia. Documentation for diplomatic poaches is sent by the Chief of Protocol of the Republic to the LRA under Article 27 of the 1961 Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. A diplomatic poach or bag is legally protected, meaning it must not be opened or detained. It must bear visible external marks of its character and may contain only official correspondence or items for official use. George Harris, some say Leroy Harris, who is the owner of the private bar entertainment center, has been charged with the following: unlicensed possession of illicit drug substances, unlicensed importation of illicit drugs or substances, trafficking, trading, distribution, and sale of illicit drugs or substances, economic sabotage, money laundering, criminal conspiracy, conspiracy, criminal facilitation, and criminal solicitation. Mr. Harris has already been charged as the investigation continues.
The information minister also provided update on the ongoing drugs investigation, disclosing that several individuals linked to the alleged trafficking operation remain in custody and are being questioned by security authorities. Piat also revealed that security agency recently attempted to intercept a suspicious vessel after receiving intelligence about its activities, but the vessel reportedly moved into deeper waters before it could be apprehended.
He said, we respectfully, on behalf of RB Alante, which is currently anchored at the location indicated in the attached land coordinate. According to him, the vessel is in urgent need of essential supplies, including engine, lubricating oil, fresh water, and food provision due to critically low engine oil level. The RB Alante is experiencing severely reduced engine performance and is presently unable to safely continue its voyage. To facilitate the delivery of these essential supplies, we have arranged for a service vessel to transport the required items to the anchored vessel. However, given the service vessel limited navigational capacity, kindly requests the assistance of the Coast Guard in providing an escort from the port to the vessel anchorage to ensure the safe and timely completion of the operation. The prompt assistance in this matter will be greatly appreciated as the RB Alante cannot safely resume its voyage until these critical supplies are delivered. Thank you in advance for your continued cooperation and support. Look forward to your favorable consideration. Based on this communication, which the Coast Guard saw as a notification from the individual just named, he's supposed to be the registered agent of Madrid and Company Incorporated. The Coast Guard assessed the nature of the issue and established the following. First, that the vessel was in Sierra Leonean waters and that the Liberian National Coast Guard could not directly respond without further authorization from the Sierra Leonean authority. That the track or tracks and activities of the vessel made it suspicious and needed further investigation. So the Coast Guard noted RB Alante as a vessel of interest.
That's the voice of Liberia's Information Minister J. Piat there speaking. Several citizens across Liberia have expressed mixed reaction following the announcement by former President George Weah that he will contest the 2029 presidential and general election. The announcement was made by Weah, the political leader of the Coalition for Democratic Change, during the CDC convention held in the United States of America. The decision comes after his early indication that he will step away from active politics following the 2023 elections. Speaking to journalists in Monrovia, some citizens welcomed the return of the former president, arguing that some policy and programs introduced during the CDC administration have allegedly been abandoned by the current government.
So the first thing, personally as a Liberian, I am not surprised that George Weah will come back to the presidency. And the declaration of George Weah is not a surprise to people like me. I know very well that when you create or make something and you see that thing is being destroyed, you are on a moral. What did he create? George Weah created so lot of things in this country. Number one, he created a Free Tuition Act that Liberians are benefiting from. All the state-run universities and public colleges around the country. Is it being destroyed? What is happening now? The government is unable to manage that. You listen to the president of the United States. The free tuition policy is still ongoing. You listen to the president of Liberia and other communities. The president of the UL, she said they're about to reverse it. They're about to take $10,000 from students at the state-run university. Yeah, former president, we have
the right to say that he is coming back for the fact that he is a Liberian and he has the right to contest for the presidency. And I may say yes, he may come back, I may say no, he may not come back. My position statement here is that I want to be very much independent in making my analysis of Mr. Weah coming back to the presidency. And Mr. Weah, history can set me correct that Mr. Weah won 14 out of 15 counties in this country. And unfortunately, in 2023, he lost the election with a low margin. So for Mr. Weah coming back to the presidency, I think that the CDC as a political institution needs to go and recalibrate. If the CDC as a political institution recalibrate, they can say yes, maybe the CDC can come out of power. But anything like that, we are seeing the core opposition is very weak. The core opposition cannot even stick to national issues.
Meanwhile, some citizens disagreed with calls for Weah's return, describing his comeback as unnecessary due to what they called positive developments under the Bouakakon administration. They cited improvements in electricity supply, access to water, road connectivity, and an increase in civil service salaries as key achievements of the current government.
We're not stopping Weah from coming back. You put it on everybody country. But the question of Mr. Weah is, how you coming back? How you coming back? You coming back where our roads, the village of peace, our people are no longer paying 30,000. How you coming back? How you coming back with no alligator, our people of Mama for stable water? How you coming back with our brothers, our sisters, they are not intimidated in the street anymore? How you coming back? How you coming back when we have stable legislature in the street? How you coming back with the Weah? How you coming back when auditors are not dying in the street anymore? How you coming back? How you coming back when people are not dying with push anymore? How you coming back, Mr. Weah? Question should be asked, Mr. Weah, how you coming back? If you are ghettos or your flash speech, you may say that DOC then you welcome Weah. Also, last speech, you will see your Weah project, everybody welcome Weah. None of the country are transformed. It should be harder than today. Today, you see the president, only President Blanca, in fucking jobs, you see government official, you prosecutor being sent. Just so yes, we're not happy. How the whole minute judge came to the country, says they are good, we're not happy, my brother. How the whole minute judge came to the country, says they are good. I don't want to judge him because there was security apparatus on top of that. The Weah government keep the security apparatus name. The failed to investigate. That is why you saw the many flew on the country. That is why you saw the many flew on the country. Mama, we are really system. We are putting the system in the place. You know me? I'm a former physician. But what the truth is, we pray there. What does Weah come to do there? What does Weah come to do? When President Biden making Tanga now to pay 5,000 for a year grand basel. What does Weah come to do?
Coming back to do what? To Liberia. Yeah. Will come back, but he will not win. Yeah, he will not be a winning factor because we have seen his leadership style, the way he leads this country. It will not be great enough again. We are responsible because we have said up with past system. Because we trusted him with the leadership, and he saw it like a game, like a job. So you don't have the kind of leadership. Yeah, we come to the trust.
Several citizens across Liberia are expressing mixed reactions following the announcement by former President George Weah that he will contest the 2029 presidential and general elections. Well, with that, this is how we come to the end of today's edition of News Point. It has been a production of the News and Current Affairs Department at the Blaze Communications Network Incorporated. Before we go, a recap of the major stories we followed today. National Youth Congress of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction issues a 24-hour ultimatum to Nema County Senator Samuel Coker to return what the group describes as the heart of the party. President of the Press Union of Liberia, Julius Kanuba, clarifies that the union's decision to engage lawyers following allegations against journalists do not automatically mean the media body is heading to court. Head of the West Africa Examinations Council Liberian office, Dave Boto, dismisses reports circulating on social media claiming that the 2026 West African Senior School Certificate Examination results have been released. In foreign news, Cameroon's President Paul Biya reshuffles the country's military leadership amidst growing concerns over his prolonged absence from public view. Thanks to all of you for your listening role. Many thanks to Stephen Tallow, who was here with the news bulletin and the Passion of Life post. Thanks to Kuna Rufo, who sat at control and coordinated the entire program. From behalf of the entire production team here at the Blaze Communications Network Incorporated, my name is Oliver McIntosh, our presenter. Good morning. Bye-bye.